Hey, good morning. I know this is Wednesday Wisdom and it's Thursday morning, but I'm going to try to knock out Thursday tools as well. So, getting it done is important. Getting it done when I'm supposed to is more important, but, the trend is positive. But Wednesday Wisdom, the quote is give ground to get around. I had this great linebacker coach named Richard Bell my sophomore year at Navy. He'd come to us after being the defensive coordinator at Georgia, really, really big time coach. Um, I always had incredible coaches. But Coach Bell was a great University of Arkansas linebacker back in the late 50s, early 60s, and he was our defensive coordinator. Then I had Dick Bumpus, who was another great Arkansas linebacker. Being from Arkansas, that was a big deal for me. Um, and Richard Bell was great. I mean, just one, a brilliant defensive coordinator, but two, he was just kind of that, had that kind of funny. He's like, Clint, you run up there like Ned in the first grade reader, son. I love you. And I still know what that means. I don't know what Ned the first grade reader was or what he was trying to say, but it always made me feel good and bad at the same time because I knew it wasn't a compliment, but he made it sound endearing. He was like, oh, Clint, you're just a big dumb animal. I love how hard you try, son. Basically, it's a critique, but it made me feel good. But I was a big, strong guy, and I used my strength a lot of times to kind of fight through offensive linemen. And when I was getting ready to do the NFL, when we kind of began to have some ideas that maybe I had the ability to play at that level, I remember Coach Bell telling me one time, and he asked me, he taught by asking, which was a really, really powerful thing and something I need to do a better job of. But he would say, hey, what are you trying to do? When you fight through these big, strong offensive linemen, it's like, well, I'm trying to get the ball carrier. He's like, well, what's most important, fighting through the offensive lineman or getting to the ball carrier? I'm like, well, getting to the ball carrier is the most important thing. He's like, well, Clint, you're quick too. Not only big and strong, but you're quick too. And sometimes you got to give ground and get around. And what he was telling me is, yeah, I can fight through the block and use the strength, or I can also use quickness and give ground because at the end of the day, the most important thing was getting to the ball carrier as fast as I can. And his point was sometimes it's faster for me to go around a guy I can go around than through a guy I can go through. And he was helping me see beyond the way I'd always done it and kind of have that front side focus of hey, what's the main thing? And we've got to be creative and flexible and adaptive and use everything available to us when we remember the main thing. And sometimes the main thing isn't us. Sometimes it's somebody else, or sometimes it's a different way to do it. And necessity is the mother of invention. And and a reminder too. And Coach Bell just had a real great way of telling me on the football field, like, hey, give ground and get around. That's my thing. But I've applied that in, I don't know, 100 other things in my life. It's like, am I doing it the hard way because I know I can do it the hard way, or am I doing it the hard way just because I haven't slowed down enough to think of the better way to do it? So the Wednesday wisdom: give ground to get around, Clint. There's a bunch of other things he told me too, which they're negative. I mean, he could critique you, but I don't remember ever hearing him cuss. And I remember feeling good about at the end of the day after he made me feel bad about doing something. And I remember he threw me in the first game my sophomore year. He's like, Clint, I know you don't know what you're doing. Just run out there and hit people. Be a maniac. And I was like, yes, sir. But I love him. Coach Richard Bell, look him up. He's an crazy guy, an impressive guy. So give ground and get around.